Hello there, it is me, Tarman, and welcome back. Today we're going to be painting some krauts. Some sauerkrauts. Alrighty, so the figures we're going to be painting today are these two. They are dead Germans. I'm currently working on a new diorama, and these guys are going to be the focal point in it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to spray this whole thing black, and then dust it with a white to highlight it. So next time you see it, it will be black and white. And there we are. They are all picked out. So they are kind of wearing two different uniforms. I do believe these are SS. Say what you will, I am not a fan of the SS, but these figures I thought were really nice, and that's what they are. This guy, I believe, is wearing this really cool camo, and this guy's just wearing a standard infantry uniform, so he won't be as interesting. Whoa. He won't be as interesting as him, but I'm probably going to hop back and forth between the two, so you guys can get a general idea. But I did order this, some German camo paints, and I did use these to paint one of the figures that go with this, which is this guy. So I think the colors will work pretty well. So yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do, probably I'm going to start off with him, which he's just wearing a standard gray uniform, but I have my German field gray, but I'm going to darken it, so I'm just going to add some black to it, and I'm probably just going to use this for his coat. So let's hop into it, just the green. And there we go. It's currently drying right now, but it literally is just that German field gray mixed with black to get all those different shades. So I'm going to set him to the side for right now, and we're going to hop over to this guy and start picking out his camouflage. So it seems like it's mostly going to be a red base, judging from the picture of it. So we're going to hop over this, and we're going to paint him this brown. Now that that's picked out, we're going to set him to the side and let him dry for a bit. We're going to go back to the other figure. And now we're back to this guy. So now we're going to pick out his fur inside of his winter coat and his undershirt. So for the fur inside of the coat, we're going to use this. And the undershirt, we are going to use this. And there we are. Now we're just going to pick out his underwear that you can see. And we're just going to use this. And there we are. We are done with him for right now. So we're going to set him aside and hop back over to him. And alrighty, so that brown looks pretty nice. And now we're going to hop over to the green, which is one of the bigger parts of the camo. And we're going to use this. And there we are. So now we're going to mix a little bit of white in the brown and the green to brighten it up. So we're technically kind of starting to highlight. And the highlight too for these colors is just mix a lighter shade and just highlight the whole thing. But we're going to be really focusing on the camo guy for right now. So just mix some white just to get a lighter shade of everything and then just hit the high points. So let's do it. And there we are. You can kind of see the difference there. But now we got to mix up the dark green, almost black. So really we're just going to take the green we used and just mix black into it to make the color that we need. So let's hop into the third camo. And there we are. There's the camo. And by the way, when this figure's over, you really won't see it too much. But let's move on to the highlighting of the green tunic. Oh, and by the way, I am using just the same colors for both of them. So like the field gray is right there, you know, and then the white, such and such. It's like I haven't introduced any new colors. I went ahead and already highlighted his little wool coat or sweater he has under there. It's just really adding white to it and just brightening the color for the highlights. But we're going to highlight his little winter coat, and we're going to use this. And there we are. So really the next thing to do for him is to put a wash over it. And I'm going to use the same wash I've used previously. Which, I mean, it's not really a wash, but I use it because I think it kind of works. Which is this stuff. But I'm just going to put it on him. We still have more to do to the other one. But this stuff isn't really a wash, but I use it like a wash, I think, mainly because it's very light. But I'm going to go ahead and put it over this guy because he is practically done right now, and really the last thing to do is just put a wash over him. But if you were curious, it's really the initial colors that I did use, and I just lightened them up gradually. Obviously I used a different color here, but you could just take the regular base coat that I used and lighten it up and you would get the same effect. Like the pants, same color, just darkened it and then brought it back up. And even his socks, same color, but I thinned it like almost to a wash or a contrast and got the color of the socks. Even with the blue, same thing, started with the base coat and then just lighten it up. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on this guy. Alright, now we're back to this guy. The last two things really to do for his uniform, and obviously this is the same technique I did for that guy's coat, so same shit, or same thing, but now we're going to do the boots, and then we got to move to the white, because right now it's more like a tan, but we need to make it more white. I do that as a good base coat to show some contrast between the two, and to kind of show that it's, been used and it's worn, so it's not perfect white. But we're going to do the boots. And we're going to use, for the boots, this. And there we are. I am going to go over the boots. I'm going to go over it with this to darken them up. And if you're curious what white I used, I literally just used basic, like the cheapest white. I just put, just thinned it down where it's mostly like a glaze and went over it. So let's tidy up those boots real quick. Alrighty, so now we're at that point to where we need to put the same wash that we did to him on him. And then after it's dry, then we can move on to the next steps. So let's put that wash on. And there we are. Now they are all nice and weathered. So really the next thing to do is just to pick out the faces. I'm going to focus on one of their faces, but they're dead, so yeah. Next thing to do, faces. So the colors we're going to be using is these. This is going to be the base, but I am going to mix this in with it because we want it to be more of a pale. So they're obviously not alive anymore, so it's all just going to be pale colors, but this is going to be the base for right now, just mixed in with this. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 60% of the white or off-white. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's mainly going to be this color. Just mix it till a point that you're happy with it. That's typically what I do, but it's going to be this mixed with all of them. So let's hop into these two. And there we are. That is the first coat. I went ahead and picked out the eye. I just used the same white and this, this blue to pick out the pupil. So now we're going to move on to the highlighting bit. And it's going to be this color again, mixed with this. And there we are. Now we just got to pick out the hair. And we are going to use this. And there we are. Now we're going to take some gray and add some stubble for where his head was shaved on the side. And we're going to be using this, but I'm going to thin it to where it's very, very light. So let's do it. And there we are. Now really the next thing to do is just to highlight the hair. And we'll just go back to this. And there we are. But now we got to do, now we got to do one more shade on it. And we're going to take this and thin it to where it's basically like a wash. And we're going to add this to the skin. And there we are. Now we just have to clear coat it, and we're just going to use a matte spray, so next time you see them, they'll be clear coated. Alright, now they're pretty much almost wrapped up. Now the next thing to do is to pick out some silvery bits, which would be the buttons to show that they've been worn, and obviously some red stuff. So let's do the silvery bits first. And we're going to be using this. The little silvery bits are picked out, and you got to think of it like it won't be completely silver, so there'll be some angles where it doesn't look silver because the buttons were painted, so it's just showing a little bit of wear. And obviously getting that dent in his helmet where a piece of strap metal split his head open. So now let's move on to the red stuffs, and what we're going to be using is
blood for the blood god.
And that is pretty much it. This is a pretty grim little kit, but at the same time, though, it does show a reality of, what happens in war. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this paint job right now. I am a fan of these sculpts. I think they were sculpted very well. These are an amazing resin kit, and I enjoyed a lot painting them. I think the end result is very good, and I think it gets the point across of what happened to these poor guys, even though they're SS, but yeah. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I definitely enjoyed painting these figures. This is a lead up to a diorama I do have planned. The Russian I painted I think 2 weeks ago. That is part of it. There is another Russian, but he's practically the same, so I won't make another video about him. But these two Germans are going to be part of the diorama, and with some cool little vehicles, and probably a vehicle rescue that I did many, many years ago. But without further ado, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Like and subscribe, only if you want to. I don't care if you do. I'm just happy you guys are watching my videos. And without further ado, enjoy the little montage.